Hello, I am Curtistene McCowan, the proud mayor of the All America City of DeSoto, Texas. Welcome to this edition on Focus on Leadership. Today, I am so excited. I have a very special person that we're featuring as our guest during Women's History Month, and her name is Mrs. Elizabeth Scruggs. Mrs. Scruggs, I must tell you just really how excited I am to have you with us today. And I do know we recently prepared a mayoral commendation for you in celebration of your 98th birthday.
Yes.
Did we have the numbers correct?
Yes.
Wow, that's exciting. And so we're excited, I am personally, but also the city of DeSoto, to have you join us today. And I'm going to start out just by asking you, please share with us where you were born.
I was born on the corner of Cockrell Hill and Bear Creek.
What city was that?
It's right down DeSoto.
Is
We called it Ovilla.
at the time,
It was
okay,
in Dallas County.
in Dallas County.
And my grandfather owned 165 acres, and that's where we were. There was six of us children was all born on that corner.
Incredible.
Mr. Parks, Dr. Parks from DeSoto, delivered every one of us. And he lived right in front of, he owned all that land right in front of the Baptist church on him.
And for those who just want to do the calculation, what year were you born?
1920.
1920. And tell us about your parents.
My parents I thought was the greatest parents in the world. But of course, I'm precious. My father the year I was born, he went rabbit hunting. People ate rabbits then.
Oh, yeah.
And he went hunting. The snow was up to his knee almost.
Mm-hmm.
And he climbed under the fence with his gun, and it went off and shot his arm off.
Oh, my.
That was the year I was in. Mama was still in bed with me.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
And
he stayed in St. Paul Hospital 1 year,
mm-hmm.
and they took his arm off.
My goodness. How many brothers and sisters do you
I
have?
had 4 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay, are any of them still living?
No. My baby brother passed away this past year.
Okay.
He was with Bell Telephone, 47 years. He was 11 years younger than me.
Yeah. Well, we are so fortunate. You're here, alive and well, I might add.
I've been very fortunate to be still here.
Well, thank you. We're excited about that. Now, where did you go to school?
I went to Ovilla till I was in the 9th grade.
Okay.
And Ovilla lost their high school. Well, we had to go to Red Oak, Midlothian, Cedar Hill, or Duncanville. And I went to Duncanville because all the Merfields was from Duncanville and everything.
Okay.
And I went up there. And then you just had 11 grades.
11 grades.
Mhm.
That you graduated from
Duncanville.
from
We
11
were 13 in our class. There was 4 girls and the rest boys.
Wow. Now, I heard there's one thing you loved to do when you were in school, and we have that in common. Was it something about basketball that was special to you?
Yes,
Tell us about that.
Well, I just love to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Now at Ovilla, we played softball, basketball, volleyball, everything. But in Duncanville, I just played basketball.
Okay.
But I love the basketball. And when we played in Duncanville, there was 2 guards on this end, 2 centers in the middle, and 2 forwards on the other end. 6. They was divided in 3 parts.
Right. And you only played half court? Like the
Third
girls?
of course.
The third, okay.
And then the year that Duncanville had the Southwestern AU tournament, they started having it half court.
Okay.
But the forwards couldn't go over where the guards were.
Wow. And what about tournaments?
We had tournaments, and the men would carry us to some, like Mr. Hastings at Duncanville, some of the older men. They were retired, and they'd take us because we didn't have a bus or nothing. They couldn't afford to send the bus out.
So you played in the first. You're a trailblazer,
Mm-hmm.
in some respects. It's as it relates to tournaments and basketball in
I
Duncanville.
went to, there was most of them were like Lancaster, Duncanville,
Hmm.
Cedar Hill, and Waxahachie, and Italy. We always played Italy. I don't know why, but
Hmm.
never will Waxahachie. And Midlothian didn't have anything but great schools then.
But wasn't there you were the first you played in the first tournament
At
named
Duncanville,
from at
Southwestern AU, and now it's Meadows. I think
Sandra Meadows?
Sandra
Is
Meadows.
so that her the naming of Sandra Meadows was after
Oh yeah,
the
it's a
turn.
long time
Uh
ago.
huh.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's the Sandra Meadows tournament
Mhm.
that's held annually
Mhm.
in
I went
Duncanville.
up there not almost year my husband died, I believe it was, when between Christmas and New Year's to the basketball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I had some old blue jeans on, things that didn't look like nothing. They called me out on the court. Me and one of them was only two left that played in the first tournament.
The first tournament. Incredible. I just wanted to hear that story. If that's so much of this is for me because of my love for basketball, but I know I'm not the only one.
No,
There are others who love it
I
and
still watch it. I've been
yeah,
watching here lately. The colleges.
the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
So you're into March Madness,
Yes.
as am I. As am I. Uh, that's one favorite memory from your childhood. Are there others you'd like to share?
Well, there was a lot of them that we had. Then you didn't go to one favorite thing we always did. My daddy carried us to Waxahachie on Saturday night, and
Mm-hmm.
we got a hamburger. He and my sister went to the movie, and Mama walked the square. The
Mm-hmm.
stores was open, and she didn't want to go to no movie. And we get us a hamburger, cost a nickel.
Oh wow, a nickel for a hamburger.
Uh-huh.
I bet it had everything on it, didn't
Everything. Well, we look forward to that because we didn't have that at home much.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But we always had plenty of food.
Plenty
We
food.
raised it.
That's
And when we raised our food, and nobody went hungry around my daddy, the neighbors that didn't have gardens and things,
mm-hmm.
he furnished them. We'd kill a pig, hog. We'd take half of it to the neighbors.
Wow. What did he do for a living? Was
We
it
farmed
farming? He farmed.
165 acres.
Wow, amazing. So when did you move to DeSoto?
1940.
1940. And who influenced you to move here, or
Well,
how did it
we
happen?
were, see, I was right down, not too far from DeSoto,
Mm-hmm.
and we traded, and my daddy and them traded most of our stuff in DeSoto. Quill Nance was the grocer, Tub Hashka, and Judas had the little store.
Did you say Will Nance?
Well,
Nance?
uh-huh.
Connected to Nance Farm?
Yes, that's who it was.
Okay.
Their daddy.
And okay. So we know we have the historic Nance Farm here that,
Uh-huh. I've been over there several times when they had that open house.
yes, yes. Have you seen the military memorial
No, I
there?
haven't.
So you must go back to see what
I
it
was
looks
reading
like
in the
now.
paper the other day
Yeah.
something about if they were going to have something for too long.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious. I want to ask you about Mr. Harold Scruggs, your husband.
Well, my husband and I, we're like 1 month of being married, 59 years. We went to watch a baseball game one night, 16 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Went to bed and walked down the hall. He put his arm around me and told me he loved me, and he never woke up.
Wow.
Died in his sleep. Never been in the hospital one time.
That's a beautiful memory. The last thing he told you, though, that he loved you. And you and Mr. Scruggs, did he move here in 1940? Or was he already here in DeSoto?
No, he wasn't. He was down on 35.
Okay.
The Cheshires all lived down there. His mother was a Cheshire.
His mother was a Cheshire, and that's a connection to some of the original pioneers here in our
Oh
city.
yeah, they were old.
Mhm.
His granddaddy was real old. And his grandmother was. They were still living when we first married, though.
When you and your husband first married. So you moved in 1940, and you've never left DeSoto.
There's 124 people lived here when we moved here.
124 people in 1940. It's incredible.
We had a grocery store, Judah Brothers, and in the state works. Well, I can't think of his first name. Anyway, he had the filling station and mechanic shop. He did all that.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that when we were kids. My daddy came over here for a lot of stuff, especially mechanic work.
Came over to DeSoto.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Scruggs was on the city council for DeSoto at one time.
Yes, he
Can
was.
you share with us?
He had 2 terms.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's for as much as he could have then. And then he had 2 terms on the school board, and then about 2 or 3 years after that, he had 2 more terms.
So
When Mr. Hughes was certain kind of here, he went back on the school.
So he did school board and council as
Uh-huh.
well. And tell us some of the things that they did. You know, city council members, you don't see them out working on roads and things
No,
like
they
that.
didn't dig. They don't dig ditches anymore, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't do it.
So what did tell us about Mr. Scruggs and his council colleagues?
Well, he loved the city council. He never missed a meeting. He loved the city council, and he always wanted to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But they'd have the Lions Club was real active later on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the Lions Club, and the city council and the Lions Club did a lot of work here in DeSoto. In fact, this old community house they've got out there now, out by the ballpark, that red building, I
Yes.
think it's red, yeah. They got a long truck, and the government gave them that building if they'd moved it, and it was down on the border, Texas border.
Oh, okay.
And they went down there and took it apart. Took them all weekend to bring it back up here, and they built that.
Is that right?
The community house.
And what about working on drainage and those kinds of things?
They had, there was some men did that didn't work in Dallas. Harold worked in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody did everything there was to do because you didn't go out and hire someone. You didn't pay anybody for nothing. But I first moved to DeSoto.
Wow.
We lived in 2 rooms when I first moved to DeSoto. And then we bought a house down in front of the schoolhouse, paid $4,200 for it. $4,250.
Wow.
My husband says we'll never live long enough to pay for it.
And of course, how many times over did you pay for that house? Many times over.
That was a cheap house.
Wow.
Wasn't too old. Mary Taylor, Wesley Taylor, sold it. They wanted to move to Dallas. They sold it to us, and it was, I think, 5 or 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Had wrought iron trim on it. We thought that was just really something special.
Something special. So, what are some other things about DeSoto that you recall back when you and your
Well, I
husband?
tell you, we had pretty good schools, great schools then, but we finally got a high school. But a lot of things about DeSoto, everybody took care of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see anybody sick that had to. I carried a many a person to the doctor. Wasn't it? I felt obligated, or I wanted to.
You wanted to.
I dressed my little son up. He is 6 months old. I'd dress him up because I thought he's the cutest thing in the world. And we'd take someone to the doctor.
Mm-hmm. And so you have one
I thought
son.
they were old then.
So you mentioned your son. You have a son.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your only child?
Yes.
Okay.
He's 75, and
Okay.
he had a heart attack 2 years ago, and they had to. Anyway, there's this whatever they did to his heart. There's been 12 in Dallas. They did that.
Wow.
And he's still living, but when they operated, they said he'd have about that much chance to live through it. But he's still living.
He's still here.
He's in bed, but he's
Okay. Does he live in the area?
in DeSoto.
In DeSoto.
He's always lived in DeSoto.
Great. And so, what about grandchildren?
I have two grandsons. One of them is a teacher at the University of Idaho, Moscow, Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband's a policeman at Garland. He's been a policeman 31 years, and my other one, well, I don't know how long he's been, about 30 years, 25 years or something. He's a professor at the University of Idaho.
That's
And
fantastic.
he has 4 children, about 1 girl and 3 boys. And the one at Garland, the policeman, has 2 boys.
Okay.
And they're both in college.
Interesting. Well, they're going to love seeing you talk about them because you know this program can be, seen all over all over the world with the
Oh,
internet.
surely not. I thought we were just talking.
Well, we are, but you're giving us so much about our city and its history, and I'm telling you, this is a rare moment for me and for so many of our citizens. So that's why I say we're very excited about it.
We had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So we did. Ruby Morris was a real good friend of mine. She and Homer. Of course, everybody was friends then.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd go to the gardens and gather black-eyed peas and give to the people that wasn't able to go, One time we went to one and he said, "You didn't shell them?" I said, "No, we didn't shell them."
We're giving you the peas.
Yeah.
At least you can
We went
share.
way down south, DeSoto here, and gathered them.
Well,
then they had government things that they planted black-eyed peas and stuff, and you could gather.
mm-hmm. And so everybody just helped everybody
Uh-huh.
back then. Well, it's been 78 years since you moved to DeSoto, and you've talked so much about what the city was like when you moved here, and it's just fascinating. And one of the things that warms my heart, because I love everybody helping everybody, and you've talked about that. Can you think of anything else that you thought was really special about our city at that time that maybe you'd like to see more of today?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think we need to still do things for people.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just had the one grocery store. We went to Jimtown, they called it then, up on Hampton and Clarendon, I believe it was. We'd go up there to buy special things because they didn't have it here. But they got a beauty shop a little later.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my hair fixed the first time in my life at a beauty shop. It cost me 25 cents.
25 cents? Mm-hmm. Wait until I tell my stylist.
Yeah, mine too.
25 cents, yes.
But we had I can't think of all we did, but the church, we really enjoyed the church.
The church.
In the church, I went to the Baptist church all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we married, they went to the Church of Christ.
Church of Christ.
Well, we went to Church of Christ here at DeSoto. They had an old wooden building and a tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
And they took me down to 10 Mile Creek to baptize me.
Really? So you were actually baptized in a creek?
Uh-huh.
And that's
10 Mile Creek.
10 Mile Creek.
Down here at 35, and we called it down at Tipton's. And
mm-hmm.
there's a skating rink down there.
I know at my home church they used to sing a song, "Take Me to the Water," or "Take Me to,"
yeah.
and my mom talked about, the things we have now, right?
Yeah.
Right inside the church,
Yeah.
you can be baptized, and that was not the case.
I looked at our contribution in church the other day, and it reminded me of back up here when I first started going up
mm-hmm.
$3 and something a week,
Mm-hmm.
Now they've got to have 3,000 or 4,000.
Oh yes, it takes a lot. It's like a business.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be run like a business. Now I want to know a little bit more about your. I know you retired from Dallas County. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your job at Dallas County.
I went to Dallas County in 1956. And I was going to work till my son got out of college.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he got out of college, I kept on working. I worked 31 years. It was just like one big happy family.
Yes.
At Dallas County then.
Good.
We enjoyed every bit of it.
And what was your job? What were your...
I was at first I was in the highway department.
Okay.
And then I had the court things that, like, people would lose their place and they'd take it,
Mm-hmm.
file the suits. When Joe Poo Lake was cut out, I cut that property, or the Dallas County property out. Some of it would be a little strip, probably like this building right here. This, some of it would be acres of it. Dallas County didn't have as much as Fort Worth did, Tarrant County.
Mm-hmm.
But I did the court cases then.
Okay. Good.
I did highway for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good.
Good. Did you ever when Dallas County, did you work in the tax office at all?
That's where I was, tax office.
It was in the tax office. What about when it relocated here? Did you ever have any interaction with it?
They had the tax office here for the DeSoto, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
But then I never did work out here at this one.
Okay. So you made that trip downtown?
Downtown, 31 years.
31 years. And as did I when I worked.
We had a good time.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. Now, I know you've remained active. I've heard about that. You've remained very active in your church. And what church is that?
Church of Christ.
Church of Christ.
Down at,
It's a
Creekside.
Creekside Church of Christ. I know.
We sold the church here and built down on between Midlos and Marquette.
Okay.
This church sold.
Well, I just want you to know they love you so much. I'm asking you, but I already knew where you went to church. I just wanted you to say it. At Creekside Church of Christ.
Everybody's awful good to me down there.
Well.
Even the old lady was there.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, what are some of the things you enjoy doing most?
Well, I'll tell you, my sister-in-law made quilts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, she can do it, I can too. So in 1982, I made my first quilt. I went up Cedar Hill and I bought some material and it came to $60-something. I thought, well, I hate to go home and tell Harold I spent $60-something for material. But anyway, the last quilt I made, the material cost over $200, so
wow.
It changed.
Yes, indeed.
I made 80, count my wall hangings and my quilts, I made 82. And when I made one, the one on my bed, I made it when I was 93. Pieced it by hand, quilted every stitch by hand. And then I made a Christmas quilt when I was 95.
Oh, wow. Did you give it to someone, or was that
I
just...
got it on my bed.
On your bed? Okay.
But all the other quilts I give them, my kids have all got quilts and things. Okay. And I've got a closet full.
That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
But we really enjoyed it. I did. I just got started at it, and then
you just continued.
I went to Duncanville to a quilt club.
Oh, okay. Well, you may want to come over to our library. Sometimes they have a quilting group just to share.
Someone told me that, and I went down there a few times, but they wasn't. When I happened to go, they wasn't down there.
We just have to make sure you know the right times they're there,
but
so you can see what's going on.
I've got. Since then, I've given a lot of material away to people just quilting.
Mm-hmm. Good. Now, I can't wrap this up without you telling us another favorite thing you do. I heard you're pretty good at dominoes. Is that right?
I play 42.
Okay.
I play 42 twice a month. And I play bingo. No, what do we play? Bunco once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to a life group at church twice a month. And ladies' Bible class on Tuesdays every week. But,
well, you're staying active.
Yeah, and wasn't you my partner the last time? And we didn't lose a game, did we?
And so you have a favorite partner who happens to be with you today.
Yeah.
Your favorite partner.
Yeah, she's all right.
Well, good.
She's been real good to me.
That's wonderful. And how are the two of you related, your favorite partner and you?
We're friends.
Good friends. That's wonderful. Now, with all of your wisdom and years of experience, the profession you had, there has to be just at least one bit of advice you could give the city leaders here in DeSoto. What would that be?
Be honest.
And
take care of
go ahead.
take care of everybody. You can't take care of everybody, and I know it's different than it used to. But used to, the men would go out and do anything they needed to do. Miss Ruby Young and I used to do a lot of that. She called Miss Ruby Young taught school here years and years.
Have the school named after her.
And she didn't want anybody to think that she was doing stuff, you know. She was one of these that she didn't want the credit. She called me up and she said, Elizabeth, I heard there was a lady over here on Spinner Road that's sick and she's got some children. So she said, could you see about it? Well, I got Troy ready and here we went. Got over there and she was in bed sick and had 4 little children. I mean, the oldest one probably 6 or 7. So I told her we'd be back in a little while. So Miss Ruby and I went to Tubhash's grocery store. We bought a big thing of groceries. We spent, I think altogether, and then we went and got their clothes and carried them to the wash theater, Hills Wash Theater, and washed them. Everything was filthy, the house. It had dirt floor.
Wow.
And we got a sack of candy, 25 cents worth of candy, and this sack about this tall, full of, then you get like, you'd never forget the look on those kids' face when they saw that candy.
Wow.
But we did that a lot of houses, a lot of people.
Taking care of each other.
And Libby never would want any credit for it. And I don't think she made, her check was about $100 a month, something like that. School teaching then.
But you want people to continue to take care of each other in this town.
That's right.
And to be honest.
And if we've got people hungry, feed them. Because we could all spare a little food.
Yes.
But good Christian people, you can't beat them.
Thank you, Mrs. Scruggs. Well, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to allow us to benefit from your from your experience and just your rich history, because we do have a rich history here in DeSoto, and part of it comes through people like you.
And a lot of you forget, you know. I forgot a lot of things that happened. But I love the people in DeSoto.
And DeSoto loves you. So I want to say to our viewing audience, we do not have this opportunity often. We have one of our very own residents who has lived here since 1940, who is 98 years old, as active as anybody here. We're thrilled to that you've joined us today to hear just part of her story and how she's been so much a part of DeSoto. And so, Mrs. Scruggs, thank you again for joining us for this segment on Focus on Leadership. And we look forward to seeing you, Mrs. Scruggs, when DeSoto celebrates its 70th birthday of the chartering of this city, which is in 2019. And so we expect you in February or March of 2019. We have not set a date yet. But I want you to be our special guest.
Oh, I'd be happy.
When we have the celebration of our city's 70th birthday of the chartering of the city. And so again, thank you for joining us today.
Y'all don't know how much I appreciate y'all having me.
We thank you. Thank you.
I didn't know they even knew me.
Of course we know you. And we're not done yet. Okay, thank you so much.